Hello, this is Adrian Igo, Capricorntigress of Astrology, A Look Inside, coming to you with a quick reading for Aries for the month of September. And Aries, the emphasis for you on the month of September is going to start out pretty much in the area of work because it is Virgo time. It is the time of Virgo. And for you, that falls into your solar sixth house of work and your health. So, I always say there's several things that can happen when there's a lot of sixth house emphasis. And that could be that it comes out in the area of like your job, like things happening at your actual job with your boss, your co-workers. A lot of times when there's emphasis in the sixth house, especially if it's something that's been brewing for a while, I'll find that people are having arguments or issues with their coworkers. It's the sun, so it'll probably be positive. So maybe you'll do positive things with your coworkers. So that's a possibility. Also, in the beginning of the month, it looks like Venus starts out in Libra in your solar seventh house. Now, it's going to be moving into Scorpio, though. I'm trying to think of what day. I should have wrote that down, what day it goes into Scorpio. That's the 9th. So Venus moves in to Scorpio on the 9th at 5:25 Eastern, 5:25 a.m. And it'll stay there in Scorpio. And then it's actually going to retrograde on October 5th. So enjoy that Venus in Scorpio through most of September. Again, Venus goes into Scorpio on the 9th. And of course, that means it's going to be in your solar 8th house. And that's positive for your partner's money. It's positive for, sex. And it's positive for just, dealing with resources. Very positive for getting resources from other people. Maybe you wouldn't say you'll get a raise, but something like that could possibly happen. And this is because Saturn, which is in your solar 10th house, is also going to go direct. Saturn has been retrograding in your solar 10th house, and it is going direct. And Pluto is also going to go direct, and Pluto hasn't been direct for months now. So that Capricorn goes direct. I believe it stations direct on the 6th of September at 7:09 a.m. That's 10:09 a.m. Pacific time. And Pluto goes direct on the 30th at 10:03 p.m. And that's going to be at 18 degrees and 45 seconds of Capricorn. So there's going to be emphasis up there in Capricorn, which is your 10th house. So, and these are two pretty heavy planets. Saturn's pretty heavy. Pluto's pretty heavy. And it might have been some issues going on in the 10th house or your career, because when those two planets are retrograding and it's your career, it's like your work is kind of pulling back, like regressing, when Saturn is retrograding that way and Pluto, that's power, retrograding. Now you're going to be able to maybe move forward with whatever plans you had for your career, or hopefully your reputation, or you can start getting the wheels churning again in the area of career. And it helps that on the 9th, the same day that Venus enters Scorpio, going in into your 8th house or solar 8th house, there's a new moon. There's a new moon in Virgo on the 9th of September. That new moon is the chance for new beginnings in your work life, in your health life. Make a new commitment to yourself, to your work, to your health. I mean, this is the time. Also new moon also indicates new beginnings, but the sixth house can also indicate healing. And Virgo, of course, is a natural healer. So I can imagine some miraculous healing going on for um, for some Aries. And this is actually something that, well, I personally think it could happen, because when the new moon, new beginning. So if you have any health issues, I would start any kind of like treatment plan or something like that on the 9th or the 10th of the month, and at least by the 11th, and see what happens. Now, you also have your North Node. Well, that's in Leo, right? Isn't it? Right. So I'm really anxious to talk about what's happening on the 24th. That's what's happening. Okay, on the 10th, we'll talk about this. Mars is entering Aquarius again. So Mars is going to be going out of that solar 10th house, going into your solar 11th house of hopes and dreams and wishes, but it's still really highly elevated. It's right up there. I hope that now that it's direct and not retrograding again, that you take advantage of this opportunity to push forward with your hopes and your dreams and your wishes, and hopefully do that with you could get a lot of support out of like groups and associations and organizations you belong to. Um, that I could see that would be kind of positive for you this month. So, reach out to friends for help wherever you need that. Let's see. There is a Jupiter sextile to Pluto on the 12th. And Jupiter is it's Scorpio at 18 degrees, and Pluto is at 18 18 degrees and 51 seconds of Capricorn. And Pluto is still retrograde at that time, but there will be a sextile. So that should be fairly good. That's your money house and your career house. So that should be a very positive. Hopefully something good will happen for you in your career or work this month. Mercury enters Libra on the 21st. And so, of course, that's going to be opposing your first house once Mercury goes into your solar 7th house. But it does mean you might be thinking about partnerships a little bit more, maybe starting to feel a little bit more romantically inclined. And this is because the sun is going to go into Libra or your solar 7th house on the 22nd of September. And the funny thing is, when you've got this Mercury and you've got the sun sitting in your solar seventh house, which is other people and your relationships or your marriage or whoever your closest or biggest relationship is, usually is a business partnership or a husband or wife or something like that. But on the 24th, there's going to be a full moon in Aries. And hold on one second. Let me make sure I mute this. I don't know where that sound came from. But there's going to be a full moon in Aries in your solar first house. And that full moon is going to be opposing, of course, your solar 7th house, or you're actually setting up a sun in Libra opposing the moon in Aries situation. So you see how there's going to be that, teeter-totter. Usually what that means is there's, when the full moon is in your first house, it shows that you're emotional. That usually is the Aries person is going to be more emotional. But it could mean that either you might have, I hope not an argument or bickering or something with a partner, a mate, or someone like that. Hopefully it's going to be more of a romantic nature, I would hope. And I could see where it could end up not being positive, but let's hope it will be positive and put a positive spin on that sun moon opposition, because the full moon in the first house is nothing nice. It just isn't. You know, people get emotional on a full moon, and they especially get emotional when it's in the first house. And when the sun is opposing it, that means the power is on the other side opposing you. So you may find that you feel opposed that day for whatever reason. I think your best bet for the month is to take advantage of that new moon that happens in Virgo on the 6th, secure your work, your health, and get things rolling in a positive direction on the 9th. And that should hopefully lessen any blows that could possibly occur on the 24th during that sun moon opposition. Now, Chiron is going to go retrograde in Pisces on the 25th, and that's in your solar 12th house. That might bring on some inner self doubts, and because it is the wounded healer wherever Chiron is. So you might want to pay close attention to that. You might just want to be alone that day, because Neptune is really hanging out there in the 12th solar 12th house as well. And so you'll really feel that. As I mentioned earlier, Pluto goes direct on the 30th of September, and on October 5th, Venus retrograde. So, and that's going to be in Scorpio. But yeah, that Pluto going direct in the 10th house also. Something good. That's your career, your reputation. And even though it is, square Aries, the fact that it's going direct, the fact that Saturn's going direct, this is really going to be a lot better for you than having these things pull against you that way. In fact, some of these, it's good to see some of these planets going direct in the month of September. So Aries, this was your reading for the month of September. I am so late. I am so sorry, you guys. I will make sure I get the readings up for October up around the 9th, 10th, 11th of the month. I want to take advantage of that new moon in Virgo myself. Have a great month of September. Much love and much light to all of you, Aries. Have a great one, everyone. Ooh, and don't forget to come and visit me at Astrology, a Look Inside. Much love and light, everyone. Bye.